Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about something that many people struggle with being alone. We live in a world that constantly tells us we need others to be happy. But what if I told you that true happiness starts from within? That learning to be happy alone is not only possible but essential for personal growth and inner peace. Many people spend their entire lives searching for happiness in external sources, whether it's relationships, money, success, or material possessions. We often believe that once we achieve a certain goal, find the right partner, or gain recognition, we will finally be happy. However, this way of thinking places our happiness in the hands of things and people we cannot control. True happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, it comes from within. When we rely on outside factors for happiness, we make ourselves vulnerable to disappointment. People change, material things lose their value, and situations don't always go as planned. If our happiness is tied to these things, we are setting ourselves up for constant highs and lows, never feeling truly satisfied. But when we learn to find joy from within, we create a sense of peace and stability that isn't easily shaken by life's unpredictability. One of the biggest misconceptions about happiness is that it's something we can only feel when we have others around us. Society often teaches us that being alone is something to be avoided, that loneliness and solitude are the same thing, but they are not. Being alone can actually be one of the most fulfilling experiences if we shift our perspective. When we learn to enjoy our own company, we start to understand that happiness is not about having someone else to share life with, it's about having a life that feels fulfilling on its own. Finding happiness within yourself requires self-awareness and self-acceptance. It means recognizing your strengths, embracing your flaws, and understanding that your worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. It involves doing things that bring you personal joy, whether that's reading, painting, walking in nature, or simply sitting in silence and appreciating the present moment. When you start focusing on things that make you happy without relying on others, you develop a deeper sense of fulfillment that no one can take away from you. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to cultivate inner happiness. When we constantly focus on what we lack, we feel dissatisfied. But when we appreciate what we already have, our health, our abilities, the simple pleasures of life, we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance. Happiness doesn't always come from big achievements. It's often found in small, everyday moments that we take for granted. Ultimately, learning that happiness comes from within is a journey of self-discovery. It's about learning to love yourself, accepting your own company, and realizing that you don't need anyone else to complete you. Happiness is not something you find, it's something you create. When we are constantly surrounded by others, whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, we often get caught up in their expectations, opinions, and influences. While social connections are important, they can sometimes overshadow our ability to truly know ourselves. Being alone provides a rare and valuable opportunity for self-discovery. It is in solitude that we can listen to our own thoughts without outside distractions, reflect on our true desires, and explore our identity without external pressure. Self-discovery is a process of understanding who you are beyond your relationships and societal roles. Many people define themselves by their job title, their relationships, or their social status. But who are you when all of those labels are stripped away? What are your deepest passions, values, and dreams? When you take the time to be alone, you begin to uncover the answers to these questions. You start to understand what truly excites you, what makes you feel fulfilled, and what kind of life you genuinely want to live. One of the best ways to embark on self-discovery is through introspection. This means taking time to reflect on your experiences, your emotions, and your goals. Journaling can be a powerful tool in this process. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you recognize patterns, understand your reactions to certain situations, and gain clarity about your purpose in life. Meditation and mindfulness practices also allow you to connect with yourself on a deeper level by helping you stay present and aware of your inner thoughts. Growth happens when we step outside of our comfort zones and challenge ourselves. Being alone gives us the chance to do just that. Without the influence of others, we are free to try new things, take risks, and push our own boundaries. Maybe it's learning a new skill, picking up a hobby, or traveling solo. These experiences not only build confidence but also help us discover strengths we didn't even know we had. When you step outside of your usual routine and face new challenges on your own, you develop resilience, adaptability, and a sense of self-reliance that stays with you for life. Another crucial aspect of personal growth is learning to embrace your flaws and accept yourself fully. When we are constantly surrounded by people, we may compare ourselves to them, leading to self-doubt and insecurities. But when we spend time alone, we can practice self-compassion and learn to appreciate ourselves as we are. No one is perfect, and recognizing that imperfection is a part of being human allows us to grow without the pressure of unrealistic standards. Spending time alone also helps us identify unhealthy patterns in our lives. Are there habits or relationships that drain your energy instead of uplifting you? Are you living according to your own values, or are you trying to meet someone else's expectations? Self-discovery allows you to evaluate your life and make conscious choices that align with your personal growth. As you continue this journey of self-exploration, you will realize that being alone is not something to be feared, it is a gift. It is in solitude that we find clarity, strength, and direction. The more you learn about yourself, the more you grow into the person you were always meant to be. Independence is one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop. It means having the ability to stand on your own, make your own decisions, and find fulfillment without relying on others for validation or support. Many people fear being alone because they equate it with loneliness. But in reality, learning to be independent can be one of the most empowering experiences of your life. When we rely too much on others, whether emotionally, financially, or mentally, we give away our power. We place our happiness and well-being in the hands of others, making ourselves vulnerable to disappointment and instability. What happens if the people you depend on are no longer there? What if circumstances change? If your happiness is tied to someone else's presence, you risk feeling lost and insecure when they are gone. This is why developing independence is crucial. It ensures that no matter what happens in life, you have the strength, confidence, and ability to stand on your own. Being independent doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting help from others. It simply means that you are capable of taking care of yourself emotionally, physically, and mentally. It means that you can enjoy your own company, solve your own problems, and make decisions that align with your values and goals. Instead of seeking constant reassurance from others, independent people trust themselves and their ability to handle life's challenges. One of the key aspects of independence is financial freedom. Many people stay in unhealthy relationships or jobs they dislike because they are financially dependent on others. When you learn to manage your own finances, budget wisely, and earn your own money, you gain the freedom to make choices based on what's best for you rather than out of necessity or obligation. Financial independence allows you to live life on your own terms, without feeling trapped in situations that do not serve your well-being. Emotional independence is equally important. Many people struggle with being alone because they rely on others for emotional support and validation. While it's natural to seek comfort from loved ones, depending too much on others for happiness can lead to emotional instability. Learning to regulate your emotions, practice self-care, and find joy within yourself strengthens your emotional independence. Instead of seeking constant approval or fearing rejection, independent individuals cultivate self-worth that isn't dependent on external validation. Another powerful aspect of independence is decision-making. When you are independent, you don't need to wait for others to tell you what to do or make choices on your behalf. You take responsibility for your own life. trusting your instincts and wisdom to guide you. This not only builds confidence, but also allows you to shape your life according to your own desires rather than following someone else's path. Independence also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. When you are independent, you develop problem-solving skills and a mindset that enables you to face difficulties head-on. Instead of feeling helpless when things go wrong, you learn to adapt, find solutions, and keep moving forward. This sense of self-reliance makes you stronger and more prepared to handle whatever life throws your way. The journey to independence requires effort, patience, and self-discipline. It may feel uncomfortable at times, especially if you are used to relying on others for support. However, the rewards of independence far outweigh the temporary discomfort of stepping out of your comfort zone. The more you embrace your independence, the more you realize that you are fully capable of creating a fulfilling, meaningful life on your own. For many people, the idea of spending time alone feels uncomfortable or even frightening. We often associate being alone with loneliness, sadness, or boredom. However, there is a huge difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Loneliness is the pain of not having company, but solitude is the joy of being with yourself. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you unlock a new level of self-contentment, creativity, and peace. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with solitude is that they have never taken the time to truly get to know themselves. When you are constantly surrounded by friends, family, and colleagues, your thoughts, opinions, and even your identity can be influenced by those around you. But when you are alone, you have the opportunity to explore your own mind without outside distractions. But you can reflect on your beliefs, values, and personal desires without external pressure, helping you become more in tune with who you really are. Enjoying your own company starts with shifting your mindset. Instead of viewing alone time as something to be avoided, see it as an opportunity for self-care and self-discovery. Use this time to explore activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Maybe it's reading a book, writing in a journal, painting, listening to music, or simply going for a walk in nature. When you engage in activities that you genuinely enjoy, you begin to associate solitude with pleasure rather than discomfort. Taking yourself out on solo dates can be a great way to practice enjoying your own company. Go to a cafe and enjoy a meal alone. Visit a museum, watch a movie by yourself, or take a solo trip to a new place. At first, it might feel awkward, especially if you're used to always being around others. But over time, you realize that doing things alone can be incredibly liberating. You don't have to compromise on where to go, what to eat, or what activity to do. You get to make decisions based purely on your own preferences. Another important aspect of enjoying your own company is learning to sit with your thoughts. Many people avoid being alone because they fear facing their own minds. They fill their time with constant distractions, social media, television, or unnecessary social interactions to avoid introspection. However, true personal growth happens when you allow yourself to process your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Meditation, mindfulness, and deep breathing exercises can help you become more comfortable with silence and self-reliance. When you spend more time alone, you also become more self-reliant. You no longer feel the need to depend on others for entertainment, validation, or emotional support. This independence not only makes you stronger, but also improves your relationships with others. When you are happy in your own company, you bring a sense of confidence and completeness into your interactions, making your relationships more meaningful and less dependent on neediness. Being alone also sparks creativity and inspiration. Some of the greatest thinkers, writers, and artists throughout history have valued solitude as a time to create and innovate. When you give yourself the space to think freely without distractions, you open the door to new ideas ideas and fresh perspectives. Whether it's writing, drawing, composing music, or brainstorming new projects, spending time alone can enhance your ability to create and express yourself. The more you practice enjoying your own company, the more you will appreciate the peace and freedom it brings. You will start to see solitude as a privilege rather than a punishment. You'll learn that being alone is not about isolation, it's about cultivating a deep, fulfilling relationship with yourself. In today's fast-pacing world, we are constantly surrounded by noise. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with notifications, conversations, social media updates, and the endless distractions of modern life. Many people have become so accustomed to this constant stimulation that the idea of silence and solitude feels uncomfortable. However, what many don't realize is that silence is not empty. It is full of answers. Solitude is not loneliness. It is an opportunity for self-reflection, growth, and inner peace. Silence allows us to hear what we usually ignore. When we are always engaged in conversations, entertainment, or work, we rarely take the time to listen to our own thoughts. But when we step away from the noise and embrace quiet moments, we start to understand ourselves better. We begin to notice our true feelings, our unspoken desires, and even the things that are troubling us but have been buried under distractions. In silence, we can process emotions more clearly, make better decisions, and gain a deeper sense of self-awareness. One of the greatest benefits of solitude is mental clarity. When we are constantly surrounded by external influences, our minds can become cluttered with unnecessary stress, worries, and comparisons. Taking time to be alone in silence helps declutter the mind, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. It gives us space to organize our thoughts, set meaningful goals, and reflect on the direction of our lives. This is why many successful people, including philosophers, writers, and entrepreneurs, often emphasize the importance of solitude for deep thinking and creativity. Spending time alone in silence also helps reduce stress and anxiety. The modern world moves at a rapid pace, often leaving us feeling overwhelmed and mentally exhausted. Taking even a few moments each day to sit in silence, meditate, or simply breathe deeply can have a profound impact on our well-being. Scientific studies have shown that quiet time helps lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and improves overall emotional stability. When we embrace silence, we give our minds a chance to reset, heal, and recharge. Solitude also strengthens our ability to be present. Many people struggle with being in the moment because they are either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. However, when we spend time alone without distractions, we learn to appreciate the now. Watching a sunset, listening to the sound of nature, or even sitting quietly with a cup of tea can become deeply fulfilling experiences when we learn to be present in them. Another powerful aspect of silence and solitude is that it teaches us to be comfortable with ourselves. Many people fear being alone because they are not used to their own company. They rely on others for entertainment, validation, and emotional support. But when we embrace solitude, we start to develop a deeper relationship with ourselves. We learn to enjoy our own presence, recognize our strengths, and work through our weaknesses without relying on external validation. This self-sufficiency fosters confidence and inner strength, making us more emotionally resilient in all areas of life. Practicing solitude doesn't mean you have to retreat into the mountains or live like a hermit. It can be as simple as taking a daily walk alone, setting aside time to journal, meditating in a quiet room, or turning off all digital distractions for an hour. These small moments of solitude can have a profound impact on your mental, emotional, and even spiritual well-being. In a world that constantly demands our attention, learning to embrace silence and solitude is a revolutionary act. It allows us to reconnect with ourselves, develop inner peace, and cultivate a sense of fulfillment that isn't dependent on external factors. Many people associate their self-worth with external validation, seeking approval from friends, family, colleagues, or society at large. They measure their value based on how others perceive them, their achievements, or their relationships. However, true self-confidence and self-worth come from within. Learning to be happy alone is one of the most powerful ways to build genuine confidence and a strong sense of self-worth because it teaches you to rely on yourself rather than external factors for validation. One of the biggest barriers to self-confidence is comparison. In today's world, social media and societal expectations often make people feel like they are not enough. When we constantly compare our lives, achievements, and appearances to others, we diminish our own sense of worth. But when we spend time alone, away from these external influences, we can focus on appreciating ourselves for who we truly are rather than how we measure up to others. Solitude allows us to step away from the noise and reflect on our own progress, goals, and personal growth without the pressure of comparison. Another important aspect of building self-confidence is self-trust. When we are constantly seeking opinions from others before making decisions, we weaken our ability to trust our own judgment. Spending time alone forces us to make choices independently, strengthening our ability to rely on ourselves. The more we trust our instincts and follow our own path, the more confident we become in our ability to handle life's challenges. Every time you successfully navigate a situation on your own, your confidence grows, reinforcing the belief that you are capable and strong. Developing self-worth also involves recognizing your strengths and accomplishments. Many people downplay their achievements or feel unworthy of success because they are too focused on their flaws. When you spend time alone, you can take the opportunity to reflect on all the things you have accomplished, no matter how small. Keeping a journal of your successes, positive qualities, and moments when you overcame difficulties can help reinforce a sense of self-worth. The more you acknowledge your own progress, the more you begin to see yourself as capable and valuable. Practicing self-love is another crucial step in building confidence and self-worth. This means treating yourself with kindness, patience, and compassion rather than being overly critical. Many people speak to themselves in a way they would never speak to a loved one, constantly criticizing their appearance, abilities, or decisions. Changing your inner dialogue to be more supportive and encouraging can significantly boost your confidence. Remind yourself that you are worthy of love and respect regardless of your imperfections. Spending time alone also allows you to explore your passions and talents without fear of judgment. When we are constantly surrounded by others, we may hesitate to try new things due to fear of failure or embarrassment. But when we embrace solitude, we can experiment, learn, and grow at our own pace. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, learning a new skill, or pursuing a personal goal, these experiences build self-confidence by proving to ourselves that we are capable of growth and success. Another powerful way to build self-worth is through taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being sends a message to yourself that you are valuable and deserving of care. Engaging in activities that make you feel good, whether it's exercising, eating nutritious foods, practicing mindfulness, or simply resting when needed, reinforces a sense of self-respect. When you prioritize your own well-being, you naturally start to feel more confident and comfortable in your own skin. Ultimately, self-confidence and self-worth are not things that can be given to you by others. They must be built from within. The more you embrace solitude, trust yourself, and appreciate your own journey, the stronger your sense of self becomes. Learning to be happy alone allows you to cultivate a deep, unshakable confidence that isn't dependent on external validation. It comes from knowing and accepting yourself fully. One of the most liberating aspects of learning to be happy alone is freeing yourself from the need for external validation. Many people unconsciously seek approval from others in their everyday lives, Whether it's through social media, relationships, career achievements, or even small daily interactions, they rely on others to affirm their worth, intelligence, attractiveness, or success. However, this dependency can be exhausting and unstable because external opinions are constantly shifting. True happiness and self-acceptance come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. The desire for validation often begins in childhood, where we learn to associate approval with love and acceptance. Over time, we internalize the belief that our worth is tied to how others perceive us. Social media has intensified this problem, making it easier than ever to seek constant validation through likes, comments, and online recognition. While external validation can feel good temporarily, it becomes dangerous when it starts dictating our self-worth. If we rely on others to tell us we are enough, we will always feel uncertain and incomplete. Because external approval is never guaranteed. Breaking free from the need for validation starts with self-awareness. Ask yourself, do you make choices based on what truly makes you happy, or are you trying to impress others? Do you change your personality, opinions, or appearance to fit societal standards? Do you feel anxious or unworthy when you don't receive praise or recognition? Identifying these patterns is the first step toward developing a stronger sense of self. One of the most effective ways to free yourself from external validation is to practice self-acceptance. Instead of seeking approval from others, work on accepting yourself as you are, flaws, imperfections, and all. This doesn't mean you stop growing or improving. It simply means you no longer base your self-worth on external opinions. When you embrace who you truly are, you become less affected by criticism, rejection, or lack of recognition because you no longer need it to feel good about yourself. Spending time alone helps reinforce this mindset. When you are alone, you are not performing for an audience, filtering your words, or adjusting your behavior to fit in. You have the freedom to be your authentic self without fear of judgment. This allows you to build self-confidence that isn't tied to how others react to you. The more comfortable you become in your own presence, the less you feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. Another important step in breaking free from external validation is learning to set boundaries. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others or being seen as unkind. However, constantly prioritizing others' expectations over your own needs can lead to resentment and burnout. Setting boundaries means recognizing that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable and that you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to gain approval. It's okay to make choices that serve you, even if they don't please everyone around you. Practicing self-conversation is also key. Instead of waiting for others to acknowledge your efforts or accomplishments, learn to validate yourself. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Recognize your growth and progress without needing outside confirmation. Remind yourself that you are capable, worthy, and enough, even when no one else is watching. The more you affirm your own value, the less dependent you become on external recognition. Breaking free from external validation is not about ignoring feedback or isolating yourself from others. It's about shifting your mindset so that external opinions no longer control your happiness or self-esteem. When you reach this level of inner security, you gain a new sense of freedom. You no longer need to seek permission to be yourself, and you stop wasting energy trying to meet unrealistic expectations. Instead, you live authentically, confidently, and on your own terms. When you spend time alone, away from distractions and external influences, you gain the freedom to explore your true passions and purpose in life. Many people go through life following paths that have been laid out for them by society, family, or peers. They choose careers, hobbies, and even relationships based on expectations rather than personal fulfillment. However, solitude gives you the opportunity to reconnect with yourself, understand what truly excites and fulfills you, and carve out a life that aligns with your deepest desires. One of the biggest obstacles to discovering your passions is noise, both external and internal. Society often pressures us to follow conventional routes, measuring success by material wealth, job titles, or social status. We are constantly exposed to messages about what we should be doing, making it difficult to hear our own inner voice. Spending time alone helps clear this noise, allowing you to explore your interests without worrying about whether they fit into societal norms. To discover your passions, start by reflecting on what genuinely excites you. Ask yourself, what activities make me lose track of time? What topics do I naturally gravitate toward? What did I love doing as a child before external expectations took over? What kind of work or creative expression makes me feel alive? Journaling can be a powerful tool in this process. Writing down your thoughts, dreams, and reflections helps you gain clarity about what truly matters to you. When you remove distractions and engage in deep self-reflection, patterns begin to emerge, revealing the activities and pursuits that bring you the most joy and fulfillment. Another way to uncover your passions is through experimentation. Many people struggle with discovering what they love simply because they haven't tried enough things. When you are constantly surrounded by others, you may feel hesitant to try new activities out of fear of judgment or failure. However, solitude gives you the freedom to experiment without pressure. Whether it's painting, writing, cooking, learning a new instrument, coding, or practicing photography, exploring different activities helps you identify what resonates with you the most. Passions often lead to purpose. While passion is what excites you, purpose is what gives your life deeper meaning. Some people find purpose in creative expression, while others find it in helping others, pursuing knowledge, or building something meaningful. Purpose is not always tied to a career. It can be found in personal growth, relationships, or contributions to the world in your unique way. When you allow yourself the space to explore and reflect, you begin to see where your interests and talents intersect with what the world needs. Another important aspect of discovering your true passions and purpose is removing limiting beliefs. Many people hold themselves back because they believe they are not talented, smart, or capable enough to pursue what they truly love. They convince themselves that their dreams are unrealistic, or that they are too old, too inexperienced, or too busy to start. However, solitude gives you the opportunity to challenge these limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering thoughts. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, start asking, how can I make this happen? The more time you spend alone working on your passions, the more confidence you build in your abilities. Passions and purpose evolve over time, and that's okay. The things that excite you today may change in the future, and that is a natural part of growth. The key is to stay open to new experiences. Follow your curiosity and give yourself permission to explore without fear. When you are comfortable being alone, you can fully immerse yourself in your passions without distractions, leading to deeper self-discovery and fulfillment. Ultimately, discovering your true passions and purpose is not about finding a single answer. It's about embracing a lifelong journey of learning, growth, and self-exploration. Solitude provides the perfect space for this journey, allowing you to reconnect with yourself and create a life that feels truly meaningful. Learning to be happy alone is not about isolating yourself from the world, but about building a strong, fulfilling relationship with yourself. It's about shifting your perspective, seeing solitude not as emptiness, but as an opportunity for growth, self-discovery, and peace. When you enjoy your own company, you become more independent, confident, and content. You no longer rely on others to define your happiness because you have found it within yourself. Embracing solitude allows you to cultivate self-love, explore your passions, and break free from the need for external validation. It gives you the space to reflect, heal, and grow into the best version of yourself. Most importantly, it teaches you that you are whole, complete, and worthy just as you are. So take the time to sit with yourself, listen to your thoughts, and explore what truly brings you joy. The more you learn to appreciate your own presence, the more fulfilling your life will become, both alone and in the company of others. Happiness is not something that comes from the outside. It is something you build from within.